Okay, today's lesson is the beginning of our extended write. So yesterday I mentioned that we're going to write in two parts, and we're going to really focus on our suspense writing, hence the bell sound effect. So remember, Zoe has just made her way to the shore with Leica. So what is going to happen next? Okay, and that's down to you. So you've had a really good planning session, I hope, and we know why that's so important. Get your ideas. Obviously you can change your ideas or you can add to them today if you want to. Right, so we're going to start just by running through a few things. You've got 2 days to work on it. Today, I just really want you to focus on part 1. So Zoe exploring the island, landing on the island. Okay, and this is going to build the tension and suspense. Then you can look at your maybe big problem and how that's resolved tomorrow. Okay. So let's just have a look at something that will help us. Now, we've used story mountains before to create whole stories. We're just literally thinking about our opening. So this will describe the setting and maybe introduce the characters. So you're writing about Zoe in the third person. We want a build up. So this is the excitement and the tension growing, and also build up your characters' emotions as well. How do they feel about this setting? Okay, now at the top of our mountain you can see we've got our major problem. This is when it's all going to kick off with your writing. If you get there today with this part, that's absolutely fine, but remember you have got 2 days. So as we come down the other side of our mountain, we've got our resolution. So what happens next? How does Zoe find a route through her difficulties? Maybe she doesn't. We're not going to think about an ending. Does she live happily ever after? Because this is just part of a bigger story. Okay, so think of this as being like a chapter that's in our Floodland book. Okay, so let's move on. Today you need to follow Zoe's trail around the island. So you check your plan, see if you can just highlight or find moments where the action slows down and then builds up again. How are you going to achieve this? This creates suspense. Okay, so hot tips for description. Don't overload your reader. Okay, so don't give them too much description because it becomes boring. Choose your vocabulary very carefully. Okay, stretch your reader's imagination. Get your reader to think. A good way of doing this is by posing questions or placing questions in your writing that come from your character. Okay, so that means that your reader in their mind is trying to answer those questions for themselves. They're filling in a gap that you've created. Okay, so tap into the thoughts of your characters. This could be Zoe. It could be that you introduce new characters on this island. I hope you do. So she might be seeing something or seeing someone discover something about her, maybe her footprints, and she can hear them talking about her. Okay, so use your characters well. Use the senses as well, guys. So when we do our descriptions, think about your fantastics. They're on your plan as well. Okay, good. Right, so the big thing, imagining. Now, I had a little think about this, and these were some of the things that you could include. So obviously Zoe is noticing things on this island, and there might be clues as to who or what is inhabiting this island. So tracks or prints, these could be left by people, they could be left by animals. We talked about that yesterday. So a smouldering fire, so a fire that has been lit that is maybe going out, or indicates somebody is nearby. Okay, someone might be coming back to this fire and you've only got a moment to warm yourself briefly before being discovered. Okay, so you could have things like empty food packets. We know that Zoe is hungry, so that's a sign that there is food to be had on this island. The other thing she was really in need of was fresh water. She's been in her boat for days without any water. Maybe she discovers an old well, okay, and again it could be a derelict well. It might be that there isn't a bucket and she's got to go and search for that bucket in order to get some fresh some fresh water. It could be a build up, so she gets her hopes up, but actually she could drop a rock down the well and there's no splash, so it's empty or dried up. Okay, there might be old kind of danger keep out signs that she discovers along the way. Is she going to keep out? She can't. Okay, she's got to keep moving forward. She might pick up fragments or parts of a diary or a letter, and that might give her some clues or information about what type of people are living on this island or who is there. She might come across signs of wildlife. Okay, she might hear owls or something like that. Always creates suspense. Maybe it's a wolf howling. Okay, and we talked about the use of derelict buildings. So the cathedral that she's going to be entering is going to be run down. Okay, there's no electric. There are no mobile phones. This is an old building. Is it crumbling? Are the windows broken? Okay, so let's move on. Have a think about those ideas. Now we're going to watch a quick clip, a short clip of how to create suspense, and I thought this is a really good device that you could use in your writing. Zoe could feel that she is being watched by somebody else, possibly hunted by somebody else. So let's watch the clip. You might want to make some notes. Think about the settings. Is there anything that you could magpie from this clip? How is the suspense built up? Think about the noises that you can hear. Okay, let's watch this. Okay, exciting stuff. Okay, so you can really see how the tension's built there. She felt a sigh of relief when she was hiding behind the tree. Then slowly she turned and something happened. Okay, so you can do that in your writing. Right, let's move on. Let's move on and see if we can do it like that. Fantastic. So I'm going to read from my waggle. So this is what I've had a go at writing today. You might want to magpie, take some notes. I will put it in the resources as well. So here we go. Zoe looked to the sky. 3 herring gulls soared and swooped amidst the tall stone towers. Zoe remembered what her father had said. Gulls are a sign of land, a sign of food and water. The sky was as grey as the ancient walls of the cathedral. In the distance, dense black clouds loomed ominously. Zoe stepped onto land. It felt good to have something solid beneath her feet again. She tentatively took 3 steps. Her body cramped. Her eyes searched the bleak island. No signs of life. Without hesitation, she tied Leica to a submerged road sign. It partly read, Bridge, 27 miles. Leica was secure and gently bobbed between some dead treetops. She had hidden Leica, but were they safe? Cautiously, she followed a broken pathway leading towards the mighty entrance of the cathedral. Just then, she smelled something burning. Branches? Card? Rubber? There were thin wisps of smoke rising ahead of her. She ran towards a smouldering pile of ash. It was next to an overturned Tesco delivery van. On the side of the van it read, You shop, we drop. Zoe had to laugh. She had not laughed for months. She was exhausted. She left the molten mess of car tyres, mattresses and rubbish and proceeded to the cathedral. She gazed at the blacked out windows. They looked like the deep eye sockets in a skull. Flicker, flicker. Was it? A tiny flicker of light nearing the top of one of the towers. She realised that she was not alone. The light went out. Suddenly, she heard a quiet tinkling to her right. She stooped down and saw a red cat's collar twisted up in some brambles. A little warning bell had sounded in the wind. There was a name tag. My name is Kit. I am microchipped. Zoe tugged the collar free, but cut her wrist on a single thorn. She wiped her wrist on her hair and put the collar in her pocket. It was time to enter the cathedral. As she clambered through a small broken window, her heart began to race. A mixture of fear, excitement, and adrenaline ruled her body and mind. In the musty haze, she could make out the inside of this derelict place of worship. It was like entering the belly of a huge whale with its giant ribs arching above her. Jonah. Jonah and the whale. She had been swallowed. Slowly she edged around the outside wall. The pews were rotten and splintered. The air was stale. The ancient building seemed empty of life, yet it seemed to moan and groan as if it was suffering. Zoe kicked something. The sound seemed to echo around the cavern. With a lightning reflex, she was on the floor, her face pressed against the cool, damp stone. Did she hear laughter? No. Did she hear a whisper? Yes. She began to crawl. Okay, so that's my waggle. So when I was writing, I was really thinking about shortening those sentences to create suspense, to create the pause in my writing. I've also got some questions in there. Did she hear a whisper? Okay, so things making your character think about the environment that she's in. So let's have a look. The final piece of advice today: you've got to write just part one of your narrative using suspense. Go back to your toolkit if you want, use your plan. Okay, you should write in the third person, so about Zoe and the past tense. Okay, you could get your character to ask questions. So Zoe thought to herself, what if there are wolves here? Okay, you might use direct speech and inverted commas. So she might come across a character, or she might hear someone speaking. So the example here: quick, Bill, over here, I found a boat, shouted the scrawny man. Okay, so there's lots for you to think about there. Really good luck with your writing today. Really enjoy it. Okay, talk about it, read it back to check that it makes sense. And we'll come back to you tomorrow, and I'm excited about that. We'll look at part 2 of what she discovers and how she solves her problems. Okay, brilliant stuff, guys. I'm saying goodbye. See you later.